Hello everyone, it's Greg from Edinburgh Renaissance Fencing Academy. Today's video is back on the topic of the theoretical interpretation of fencing treatises in HEMA and historical fencing. So within the wider martial arts community, you often hear this proverb that you can't learn martial arts from a book. However, the whole underlying premise of the study of historical fencing is that it's based on information in old books, in treatises. So I want to discuss this apparent contradiction today and talk about what you can and what you can't learn from the pages of these old treatises. So let's get started. Right, let's deal directly with the proverb. No, you cannot learn a martial art by reading a book from the front cover to the back cover. Sitting there and reading will not somehow give you the ability to be able to fight in that system. What it will do is give you some theoretical ideas about how the system might operate, but it needs to be combined with practice, and that's really the main point for today's video. So let's go to my favorite historical source, Giacomo di Grassi's treatise of 1570, and see what he, the author of a well-known treatise, has to say on the matter. So in the introductory section of his work, he says, "There is no doubt that the honourable art of arms is made perfect through two things, namely judgment and strength." And in this case, you should understand judgment as meaning theoretical knowledge and strength as meaning physical ability. He continues, "Because from the former, judgment, you acquire understanding of the way and the time in which to proceed in any situation. And through the latter, strength, you become able to perform everything in due time and with advantage. If you were to possess solely a theoretical understanding of the way and the time in which you should attack and defend, that would only be of use for knowing how to reason about it, whereas the aim of this art is not talking, but rather doing." So, in summary, he was well aware of the fact that theory is a good place to start, but you must physically train, and you must physically train a lot. And in fact, he goes on to explain why he has included a whole section of his book about physical training and the means to get fit, to get strong for fighting. Another interesting point from his introductory section is about the dangers of a purely theoretical understanding. Let me just find the section here in my text. Maintaining as a certainty that judgment without strength and speed is of little or no use, but rather perhaps injurious, since men who are blinded by their judgment, knowing how things ought to be done, apply themselves to undertakings in which they cannot in fact succeed. So basically, he's saying that if you just sit there and read books, you might have a theoretical understanding of things, but it's foolish to imagine you can then do it in practice. And in fact, in his treatise, he has numerous examples of people who think they know it all, but can be easily undone by brave, strong men who are prepared to stand there and just throw a simple, confident attack. So that is the master's viewpoint of this theory. You cannot learn martial arts only from a book, but certainly in terms of historical fencing, the theory in the book is a starting point. It's a framework on which to hang your physical training. But it's the physical training that actually allows you to be able to fight. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover today is how to build that framework for training. Unfortunately, when you take a historical treatise like this one, it's not a simple case of reading what's written on the page and then going and practicing it in the real world. These treatises are not modern training manuals. They are treatises. They are an academic, theoretical presentation of a concept of fencing. They're also often aimed at people who were experienced fencers. So the treatises are not really designed, for the most part, to teach beginners. They are designed for experienced swordsmen to be able to refine skills they already have to reach a higher level of ability. And in some cases, the treatises are actually aimed at fencing instructors. So they're more like a curriculum that an instructor can go away and use to teach their own classes. So for modern practitioners who are starting with little or perhaps no ability in swordsmanship, it's quite a challenge to take this theory, which has a lot of assumed knowledge in it, and turn it into a practical training system with drills and fitness conditioning and all this kind of stuff. So being able to do that is interpretation. So that's what historical fencing and HEMA training is really based on, is the interpretation of old books and turning them into practical systems of training. Now, the assumed knowledge which we need to interpret and try to uncover is often about the subtleties which make the difference between something which is practical and something which is not. And basically that usually means body mechanics. It's quite difficult to explain body mechanics to any level of detail in a book. And many treatises don't even try. They just tell you to parry here, step over there, and then thrust the other guy. They don't really tell you how to engage the key muscle groups in order to do that, or they might not explain how to take care about your balance, or how to engage your back in the right way to avoid injury, and so on and so forth. So these are all things which we need to learn through experimentation, through cross-checking with secondary written sources, and perhaps also through cross-training in other physical disciplines. So it's not an easy process to interpret a fencing treatise. It's not easy and it's not quick. So yeah, that's just an extra idea I wanted to leave you with, seeing as how we're discussing the theory versus practice argument today. On that note, I'll finish there for today. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.